Wash your hands, stay at home, and prepare yourselves for the ScareAntine. I am your cousin Bobby, and I am proud to present this mini-season of B-Movie Mayhem, where I show off some of my all-time favorite movies. For those of you interested, here's our full lineup for Season 2. We're working on getting these chilling and thrilling classics in front of your eyeballs within the next few months. Tonight we have a special treat for you all. We here at Team Mayhem decided that maybe we need a little break from the spooky stuff, and we are going to show the classic 1923 comedy, Safety Last. Safety Last is about a young man who leaves his small town for the big city and discovers that success is not so easy to come by. It stars Harold Lloyd, who was born April 20th, 1893 in Birchard, Nebraska. He was one of the big three of the silent comedy stars, alongside Charles Chaplin and Buster Keaton. He got his big break playing Lonesome Luke, a character who was a lot like Chaplin's tramp. He became even more successful, though, playing his glasses character, who was more of an optimistic everyman. He appeared in nearly 200 movies. Besides this one, some of his more famous features are Grandma's Boy, The Freshman, and Speedy. He would always have thrilling sequences and crazy stunts in his movies. The most famous one here is his climb up the Bolton building. It includes the immortal image of him hanging from a clock hand. Lloyd did most of his own stunt work, like others in the era. Here, though, Bill Struther, who plays his friend Limpy Bill, was actually the one seen in the long shots. And at the end, there was actually a circus performer who does the rope stunt. Several different buildings were used for this sequence, and they were all sets built on top of each building. So you can see the buildings change in the background. So strap in, grab your climbing gear, and prepare yourselves for Safety Last. Ha 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 ha! The producer on this movie was Hal Roach. For a good chunk of the 20th century, Hal Roach was one of the top producers in comedy. He was born January 14, 1892 in Elmira, New York. He formed Hal Roach Studios and had a stable of some of the top comedic stars in the 1920s and 1930s. Besides Harold Lloyd, he also had Will Rogers, Charlie Chase, the Our Gang Kids, and Laurel and Hardy. We'll be back with more right here on TV 20.
Hi, I'm TV 20's Dan Monroe. During this time of crisis, the Domestic Violence and Child Advocacy Center wants you to know that they are maintaining critical services while balancing the health and safety of their clients, staff, and community. As always, the DVCAC's helpline is available for safety planning and crisis intervention by calling or texting 216-391-HELP. That's 216-391-4357. If you need help or are concerned about someone in your life, you can live chat with a specialist at dvcac.org. During this time of crisis, the Emergency Domestic Violence Shelter is operating. Advocates will continue to work with victims, therapists will still be supporting clients, and the Canopy Child Advocacy Center will continue to serve children being abused. For more information, visit the Domestic Violence and Child Advocacy Center's website at dvcac.org. Thank you.
The character known as the girl in this movie is Mildred Davis. She was born February 22nd, 1901 in Philadelphia. She played the girl in several of Harold Lloyd's movies and actually married Lloyd on February 10th, 1923. She retired from acting after that, with the exception of 1927's Too Many Crooks. Now back to Safety Last. Fun fact about Harold Lloyd. On August 24th, 1919, he was doing a promotional photo shoot for Hal Roach Studios. He picked up a bomb that he thought was a prop, lit it, went to light a cigarette, then boom! He blew off his right thumb and index finger. From there on out, he wore a prosthetic glove on set. Clearly, it never got in the way of any of his crazy stunts. We'll be right back with more here on the ScareAntine.
During the COVID-19 pandemic, if you find yourself in need of food, help is just a phone call away. The Greater Cleveland Food Bank is here for you. Call their help center at 216-738-2067 or visit their website at greaterclevelandfoodbank.org for more information.
The need for blood is constant, and sometimes that need becomes critical. From accident victims and cancer patients to premature babies and those with blood disorders, hospital patients rely on all of us to make sure that blood is on the shelves and ready to help. That's why the American Red Cross needs you. Make an appointment to give blood today by calling 1-800-RED-CROSS or visit redcrossblood.org. Your one blood donation can help save up to 3 lives.
Another fun fact about Harold Lloyd. One of his hobbies was photography. In fact, he experimented with early color and 3D technology. Who were the subjects of these experiments? Why, young starlets and models, of course. He took nude and swimsuit shots of women like Marilyn Monroe, Betty Page, and Tura Satana. His daughter, Suzanne Lloyd, compiled several of these photos and published Harold Lloyd's Hollywood Nudes in 3D in 2004. Let's see more professional actor and amateur photographer Harold Lloyd back to safety last. Oh, yes! Oh! This movie gets me so hyped. It makes me want to climb a building. Just get on up it and feel the wind in my hair, the pigeons around me. Oh, how free it would be to climb a building. I'm gonna go up Key Tower and I'm gonna make it my wife. I'm gonna go off. You keep watching the movie. Be right back.
Let me try it again. I'll switch it up a little bit. Let me know which one you like more.
Oh, this movie is so crazy. Gets me so hyped. I want to get up there and I want to feel something. I want to feel the wind in my hair, the pigeons at my side. Come to me, pigeons. I am your master. I'm gonna go climb Key Tower and I'm gonna make it my wife. Be right back. I'm coming, Key Tower.
Hi, I'm TV20's Dan Monroe. During this time of crisis, the Domestic Violence and Child Advocacy Center wants you to know that they are maintaining critical services while balancing the health and safety of their clients, staff, and community. As always, the DVCAC's helpline is available for safety planning and crisis intervention by calling or texting 216-391-HELP. That's 216-391-4357. If you need help or are concerned about someone in your life, you can live chat with a specialist at dvcac.org. During this time of crisis, the Emergency Domestic Violence Shelter is operating. Advocates will continue to work with victims, therapists will still be supporting clients, and the Canopy Child Advocacy Center will continue to serve children being abused. For more information, visit the Domestic Violence and Child Advocacy Center's website at dvcac.org. Thank you.
Want more comedy while you're stuck at home, but want it more in the scary vein that we usually have around here? I recommend 2014's What We Do in the Shadows. It was written, directed by, and starring Jermaine Clement and Taika Waititi. It was a mockumentary about the lives of vampires who live together in a flat in Wellington, New Zealand. It features them getting into it with werewolves, dealing with ex-girlfriends, and the proper way to keep a room clean during a feeding. It was also recently adapted into a TV series set in America, which is just as good. The boy is heading up the tower. Will he survive? Let's find out. It's time for the thrilling conclusion to Safety Last. with the end of the movie and the boy finally finding success in the big city, it's time for the Bobby score. We have 1 star for that weird crouch walking bit, 2 stars for a high-rise attack dog, 2 stars for every single crazy gag Harold Lloyd did on the side of the building. That's a total of 5 stars. Cousin Bobby says, I would gladly watch this on top of any high-rise. We close today by going over to Bobby in the studio. Bobby, what have you got for us? Thanks, Bobby. I'm here with Matt Pilata of Frame One Media, the creator, writer, and director of A Social Distance, a movie made by several different creative types while maintaining social distancing guidelines and stay-at-home orders. Matt, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on here, Bobby.
Oh, no problem at all. So I touched on this a bit in my intro, but what was the basic concept behind this movie, and how did you come up with the idea?
So originally, it really just started with me wanting to have a creative outlet during social distancing. And it's really tough as a filmmaker because you're used to collaborating with actors, directors, writers, and nobody can be near each other. So I thought, hey, why not try to make a film and have people shoot their own parts and scenes and then put it all together and kind of see what it comes up with. And you know, my initial idea of what it might be is probably pretty different from what it ended up being, but I think it ended up being even better than I thought it might turn out.
Right. So going along that line, what was that firm idea of what you thought the movie should look like? And or was this a movie that you kind of found in editing? What kind of guidelines did you have for people?
So in the very beginning, I made an intro video which kind of detailed the idea. Actually, I'm going to go back even more, just a hair. Originally, I just put it out there on Facebook as a, hey, whoever wants to do this, let's team up and who's interested. But the response was overwhelming with the number of people who wanted to do it on top of the kind of the positivity and energy behind it. So I ended up making a Facebook group page, and then I made an intro video that kind of laid out the guidelines. So, you know, shoot it horizontally, not vertically, which is kind of what everybody seems to want to do for some reason with the camera. Our eyes go this way, not this way on our face.
Right.
We have, you know, I told people, let's keep it PG-13. There were a lot of like families and children who wanted to be involved. And I think it's always fine to be a little edgy, just not over the top, you know. And then, you know, I just kind of said, keep it to a minute and you can do whatever genre you want. I'm going to give you a prompt. And so I would give somebody a prompt. So one prompt might say, it involves you working from home, or it might say, out in public trying to socially distance yourself. 95% of what was sent in ended up being comedy. And I didn't know that was the route it was going to go. As a filmmaker, I think stories are stories. And so some of it might be dramatic and some might be, you know, something different. And I think it really shined a light on the fact that people needed to stay positive, and laughter is the best way ever to possibly do that. Nobody sent anything that was negative or dark or, you know, anything that was just, you know, unpleasant to watch. It was all, in my opinion, very entertaining and on the nose, and poking fun at ourselves more than anything, like how we're kind of living in an alternate universe right now.
Right. So similar to the last question, and you know, with you saying that you got like 95% comedy and that you had people who were amateur filmmakers and everything, what was your experience in editing the movie? It was definitely the craziest editing experience I've ever had, because just from a storytelling standpoint, I had to try to weave together what were, you know, 50 or so very disconnected scenes that, you know, would otherwise just be seen as like, you know, a shotgun blast of like randomness. And so I had to tie a thread, and some of that was done before I actually physically edited the thing. But as I got into post-production,
I had to write little scenarios to kind of piece it together. And it was really interesting. And I mean, as an editor, as somebody who's been doing this for almost 20 years, it was great because it challenged me to look at things in a new way, take a step back, come back to it and go, maybe this would work better as a montage, or maybe this scene fits better over here, where most narratives, they're pretty linear. And this was just kind of all over the place. And I think that was, from a filmmaking standpoint, that was probably one of the things that most people had reached out to me directly or on Facebook and commented on how they were amazed that it was edited in a fashion where it was a somewhat coherent story. So it was challenging, but I love a challenge, and that's why it was fantastic.
Right. So what kind of things did you hear from the socially distant cast and crew in terms of their experiences?
That's a great question, because that to me was the payoff. The product itself being released was great, but every single day I'm reaching out to cast and crew, giving them prompts, they're sending me content, and I think every single person involved sent me like a really nice, really kind thank you note. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for like taking all your time and spending it on this, but also thank you for giving me this outlet. A lot of people were like, I didn't realize how much I needed this. I was pulling my hair out or my kids were going crazy, and suddenly we're teaming up and doing this fun project together, and we're making a movie that is going to get shown. It was the collaboration and the people, their appreciation for what I was doing and my appreciation for what they were doing. That is what made every ounce of work and hour put into the project worth it in spades.
Right. Oh, that sounds so cool. So what were some of your influences in putting this together? Personally, I felt like there was some influence from sketch comedy movies like Kentucky Fried Movie or Monty Python's Meaning of Life.
I think you hit it on the nose. While I don't know that it was a direct influence, Kentucky Fried Movie is one of my favorite, movies in that genre. And as I was putting it together, I said, oh man, this is really starting to feel like Kentucky Fried Movie. With the fake commercials and with the fake movie previews and all of those things. And I love David Zucker and all of those, that his style of comedy. In fact, I watched a documentary about those guys and how they came up with the rules of comedy. Like, if something funny's happening in the background, the foreground needs to be serious and certain things like that. And so that has had a huge influence on me from a writing, directing, shooting, editing standpoint of, if you want something to pay off comedy-wise, you have to be smart about how you do it. And so even in the way I edited things, I would make sure that if there was going to be kind of a poignant piece, I bookend it with comedic pieces, or, don't try to make it funny if it doesn't need to be funny. Comedy can't be forced, and when people can naturally laugh at something. So, I don't know that those were the influences going into it, because going in, I had no idea. I had people say, oh, it was kind of like a more gritty SNL, something like that. And those are all compliments. If they see it as anything mainstream, that's a huge compliment. Kentucky Fried Movie is definitely a deeper cut, but I love, of course you, the B-movie master, knows that one.
Oh yeah, of course.
I don't think it's appropriate for TV 20, but man, I love that movie.
All right, so Matt, we're almost finished here. Where can people find Frame One Media and A Social Distance?
So you can go to frameonemedia.com is our website, and you can check out the stuff that we do. We work with clients all over the world doing videos for, whatever their purposes are, from marketing, commercial. And then we also have a Facebook presence, and that's tied into A Social Distance Film. And you can go there, and if you want to just kind of see the group and the thread and where it all started, you can go to facebook.com/groups/social distance film. And that's where I posted the original thing, and all the people started popping up, and the rest is history. And we're hoping to get even more eyes on it as we move forward, which that's all I really care about, is just having more people see what we did. And I think it's extremely timely and obviously extremely relevant, because I hope one day we can look back and go, this is kind of a funny but realistic look into what life was like in 2020, which, we'll always know and always remember for better or worse.
Right. Well, we here at TV20 will certainly love to spread the word, because we just love it when Cleveland creatives get out there and put themselves out there. So thank you so much for your time today, Matt. I hope you and your family stay safe and healthy through this pandemic.
Thank you, Bobby. I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem at all. Back to you in the studio, Bobby.
Come out here.
Okay. Mom! Mom!
Get back in the house.
No, dude.
What is that?
Knife!
Fuego.
Salt! Shillelagh.
I haven't put this on TikTok. Don't look at me! Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. What?
What do I do? Help!
Yes.
Ooh.
Right now.
I'm down with it.
Awesome!
From the makers of Super COVID and Tiger Kong comes the newest video game sensation, Ronio Brothers.
Awesome!
Run through these amazing worlds and do your best to avoid the other people.
Don't let her touch you! Let's get all toilet paper first.
Packed with the best visual technology and 8 whole bits of graphics.
I got the TV! Oh no, you got the Rona! But now I can shoot everybody with it!
The most fun your kids can possibly have under quarantine, so you can get back to work. Ronio Brothers. Go the distance, keep the distance.
Thanks, Bobby. Looking handsome as always, my good sir. That's all the time we have for today. Thanks goes to my production partner, Pat Longbreak, as well as the entire crew at TV20. Thanks also goes to our graphic designer, Jeff Agneberg, our research assistant, Ralston Dowse, and the ever-talented Bryce Norton for writing and performing our theme song. You can email me at cousinbobby216@gmail.com and follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at cousinbobby216. Good night, Cleveland, and remember to befriend the pigeons, for they shall set you free. Sweet dreams, Cleveland. That's all the time we have for today. Thanks to my production partner, Pat Longbreak, as well as the entire crew here at TV20. Thanks also go to our graphic designer, Jeff Agneberg. I cruise through this thing and I can't even get the thanks straight. Oh, I hope I didn't get any spit there on the camera. I think it should be okay. Got a little weird with this episode, but that's okay. It's good weird. Ooh, girl. Fun fact about Harold Lloyd. And excuse me. Fun fact about Harold Lloyd.